Sometimes you just need to end the day on a positive note, and what is more positive than making fun of games journalists, especially after that last video I did, which is pretty heavy, don't get me wrong, you should all watch it, it is an incredibly important topic. But let's get back to our regularly scheduled programming of just wrecking these NPCs, especially over their critiques of Fallout and capitalism, and how the creator of the game flat out denounces their views. Welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idle, and yes, if you had not heard, original Fallout creator Tim Kaine says critique of capitalism was never the point of the games, and if it was anything, they're about how war is inevitable given basic human nature. Oh, you love to see it. It's almost like this is what we, as regular fans who don't make everything about politics and ideologies, have been saying the whole time. Now, is there room in the Fallout universe, in the lore of the games, in the expanded lore, to have critiques of various government and economic systems, capitalism, socialism, the whole nine? Yeah, absolutely. You can definitely find that within the game. But was the game an outright anti-capitalist message? Yeah, no, it wasn't, and Tim Kaine has just revealed as such himself, so we're gonna get into this article before we do hit that subscribe button. I'm a nerdy news channel, I cover nerdy news every day, and what can I say? I'm a big-time Fallout fan, Tim Kaine was the man, and I just love the chance to dunk on these journalists, because we know that they all set out to write articles only to push propaganda, only to push their views on how the world should work, how capitalism isn't the answer, how we want to be a communist utopia, as if that's something that's possible when communism has caused more deaths by like 5 times over than, let's say, for example, the Nazi regime. Oh, I tell you guys, this is gonna be a good one. I love how they add right here, he doesn't mind if you take anti-capitalist message away anyhow. Like you needed the creator's validation of, well, it's okay that that's the message I take away, right? Validate me, Mr. Tim Kaine. And you know what? Tim had a pretty brilliant answer in response to the troglodytes that have these thoughts, but we'll get to that when it comes. So let's just roll on through here. What's Fallout about? War, nukes, consumerism, imperialism, how easy it is to misplace close relatives, all of the above. It's a debate that's raged for decades. No, you see, I've been playing Fallout for decades. That debate hasn't raged. There's been conversation. There's been insightful individuals and nerds sitting down at the game shop or on Steam or on AOL Instant Messenger or whatever you had at the time when you were playing Fallout to talk about the Fallout universe. But a debate that's raged? No, not really. This whole debate raging thing hasn't actually started aside from the last 10 years or so when your ilk decided to start forcing your political propaganda into every facet of video game media. So I just want to correct the record there. No wonder. Fallout is a pretty rich text as video game series go, and there's all sorts of messages you could read into, likes of Fallout 1, 2, New Vegas. I love how you leave out Fallout 3 and 4, and what are arguably the most famous of the entire series. They're doing wrong. No shade to Fallout 1, 2, New Vegas. They're all great, but it's funny that you only include the ones that, aren't Bethesda. 14 years later, you can still click into any forum on the internet and find people arguing about which ending is the best for Mojave and New Vegas. It's yes, man. Not even going to get into that debate because that's going to just charge something whole different. That's not the point of the video, but I disagree. We'll just leave it at that. Here's what it's not about, or at least what it's not inherently about. Anti-capitalism. Oh! It's not about Now, you play this off as if it's a positive at first. Like, hey, yeah, look at us. We're defending Dude, this is PC Gamer. We know you're not defending capitalism. This is the same outlet that has been running hit piece after hit piece against Black Myth Wukong for the last several months now. I thought you guys were all about just bowing down to your communist overlords. Or are you against bowing down to said commie overlords when they don't have enough female and trans diversity in the video games? Oh, it's too male-centric. Not even white male because it's Asian. The point is, we know what you're going to be saying. We know what you're going to be talking about. We know every single talking point you're going to try and hit in an article like this because it's about something that is, according to you, inherently political. Fallout is inherently political. Star Wars has war in the title. That's inherently political. Well, not according to Tim Kaine. Here's what it's not about, not inherently about anti-capitalism. That is according to Tim Kaine, one of the series' original co-creators over on his YouTube channel. More specifically, Kaine spoke about it in the comment section of one of his recent uploads, a video prosaically titled Capitalism, in response to a fan asking about Kaine's view on Fallout as a critique on capitalist corporate greed. Now, again, those themes can be found in the games, absolutely. But there is so much more to Fallout than just, oh, look at my... I could make an entire series of video essays on why Fallout stands for free speech, the Constitution, conservatism, anarchy, because I would rather go the anarchy route since that's where I am. I'm not a conservative in the slightest. Point is, about how it's pro-capitalism. You could find inherent just bits of lore and whatnot where you would be able to make an argument for any political belief you hold. Left, right, center, no political belief at all, fascism, capitalism. That's all there because Fallout is a legitimate, rich world full of different stories, ideas, storytelling. But that doesn't mean that's the actual point of the game. That just means you can find it and you can build an argument. Really, it's nothing more than fanfic and fan theories at that point. Kane's response was unequivocal. Critique of capitalism was never the point of Fallout. Well, is anybody that's actually a Fallout fan shocked by this big reveal?
I am shocked. Shocked! Well, not that shocked.
How can you tell? Because the game went out of its way to mention that other countries, like China, were also behaving terribly. China, who, as I've mentioned in multiple prior videos thanks to Black Myth Wukong, are filthy fucking commies. The game went out of its way to mention that other countries like China were also behaving terribly, which is very true, of course. In the original isometric Fallouts that Kane worked as lead on, the US was a horrifying dystopia, a chauvinist, capitalist hellscape that imposed its will on the world and shot anyone who disagreed, but it wasn't unique. Chauvinist, as if you haven't been able to always choose, I don't think you were in the first one, but in the majority of them, female characters and play through the game. There have been several strong female characters throughout the history of Fallout, but yeah, let's call it chauvinist. It wasn't unique. Fallout's China, which never dropped to smash the old world and forge the new world ideology of the Mao Zedong thought era. We can definitely call it Mao Zedong thought. Again, that's probably ideology that you agree with. Was also plenty violent. In fact, in Kane's original vision, it was China who dropped the bomb first. And to be fair, that is still the case. For whatever reason, people keep thinking that the Netflix show or the Amazon show retconned that. No, it's still China that dropped the bombs first. It's just now the waters have been muddied about whether or not Vault-Tec was going to instigate a war to begin with. That's neither here nor there. The point is, that hasn't changed. If anything, says Kane, Fallout is a comment that war is inevitable given basic human nature, and the mode of production doesn't necessarily have all that much to do with it. And I would say he's correct. Capitalism is a relatively recent invention in the grand scheme of humanity. But, much like the old adage from Fallout says, war never changes, and we've been having war since the inception of our great species of humans. So, yeah, I would say that, Tim is 100% on point here. Factually accurate in all respects. That doesn't mean Kane disapproves of an anti-capitalist read, mind you. This is where they're like, oh, we have to have some sort of validation. If we can just take his words and find some way for it to validate our need for this anti-capitalist society, if we can make Fallout a pro-communist story, that way all of our little good boys and girls, all the little budding comrades can play it and understand that it will not be my farm, it will be our farm as we grow up and dethrone Donald Trump or whatever sort of ideology they want to roll with. My God, it is exhausting but also hilarious. That doesn't mean Kane disapproves of an anti-capitalist read, mind you. I don't think I have any themes that run in common in all my games. Maybe mistrust of power, said Kane, but people will interpret my games in all kinds of ways, and that's okay. Everyone brings their own perspective, and a story can mean different things to different people. That's a fine thing for him to say. He's not here being like, well, if you want the game to be about communism, then I endorse that. No, he's saying what a fucking musician says. When, let's say a song is about, a very particular subject. Oh, this song is about abortion. Because for whatever reason, that was a big thing in the 90s. I can list several songs that were about abortion. And, an artist would get asked about it. Well, yeah, that's what I was writing about when I wrote it. But if you want to treat it like it's about high school runaways, or losing a loved one like your grandmother, or losing the first love, you blossom on to be a stronger person after that high school sweetheart, whatever it means to you, that's what it is. Yeah, that's fine. That's a very common answer for a creative to give, is that I understand that my art will be interpreted by different people all across the world if they get their hands on it. That's just a standard thing for an artist to say. So I don't even know why it's relevant, but again, they need him to say this to validate their anti-capitalist, pro-communist mentality. Honestly, pinko that I am, you're not a pinko. For those of you who don't know, by the way, pinko just means lefty. It just means a liberal. You are not a liberal. There was once a time in this country, and frankly the world over, where being a liberal didn't mean you were a fucking communist. Liberals were still also pro-capitalism. They just maybe wanted, like higher taxes and, wealth, to take care of income inequality. Things that are, like noble on the outset until you dive further into them, but still pro-capitalist nonetheless. The point is, you are an actual communist. You say so later on in this article. You are not a pinko. The fact that you were trying to take a word that literally just meant liberal or left-leaning and apply it to full-on communism, it makes me long for the time when people in this country could be on the left and not be fucking commies. I've always taken an anti-capitalist read on the original Fallout games, but I'm not too surprised that Kane wasn't necessarily trying to make an isometric RPG version of the Gundress back in the 90s, and this is how we know he's a commie, because those who don't know, the Gundress is a fucking work by Karl Marx. Actually, it's a manuscript that was not ever even finished, mind you, but yes, it was a manuscript by Karl Marx himself. So yes, you are not a pinko. You are a filthy, degenerate commie. Drink bleach. When I consider his work, like The Outer Worlds, which is intensely satirical of corporate life without really taking much criticism of capitalism or private property as a whole, it makes sense the critique of capital just isn't something that interests him that much. Nor should it be, because capitalism is pretty fucking awesome. In fact, capitalism is what allows you to write such a dumbass article like this and get paid for it and not get thrown in a fucking gulag. Because let me tell you, if your commie overlords do end up taking over, you won't be writing for video game publications, homie. Fair enough, I suppose. Kane's still been responsible for some of my favorite games, even if he doesn't share my read of them. Now, I will say, I do appreciate the fact that this particular game journalist is at least self-aware enough to say he can have a different perspective than me, and I respect that. But is he doing it because, oh, anyone can have that opinion? Or does he just love and respect Tim Kaine that much and love and respect the Fallout games? So it's okay when he disagrees. He's got some notoriety. He's got class. I guarantee you if homie sat down with me or you watching and we tried to explain the benefits of the capitalism, no, he would call us pigs. He would call us fascists. He would just immediately assume that we're all Donald Trump supporters and we're racist, xenophobic motherfuckers. Like, that's the route he would go if he was having the conversation with any normal individual. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is one of the very, very few, almost 0% of well-balanced and well-articulated communists out there. Somehow I doubt it, but it's amazing. Again, this isn't normally something like that. There's no big breaking news here or anything to that effect. I just wanted to have a little bit of fun. Like I said, the last video was on a very heavy subject about government overreach, censorship, about how they're quite literally putting the kibosh on review bombing, making it an illegal offense to review bomb and leave fake reviews, and that is a direct infringement on our freedom of speech. I highly recommend and frankly just request and plead that you watch my video from my 2 o'clock segment. It would mean the world to me. But yeah, this was just a nice little palate cleanser, a little dessert after that very hearty meal earlier, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. These are my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on X, or you can find me at Bolt the Word, and please do subscribe. I am a nerdy news channel. I bring you nerdy news every day, not always about, capitalism or what's going on in the video game industry, but anime, movies, music, Magic the Gathering, you name it. Check me out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon, and become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord, choose the articles I go over on a day-to-day basis, choose the videos I react to on my Friday night live streams, and of course, get in touch with over 80 other vital idols. We are a bright, beautiful, glowing, vibrant community that I cannot wait to grow even further, because we do care about diversity, but only one kind of diversity of thought. If that's interesting to you, join the Discord, hit subscribe, and until next time, it is all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.